Summer 1977. A radio telescope in Ohio caught something strange from deep space. It was unusually strong, unusually clear, and it seemed to come from somewhere beyond our solar system. The astronomer reviewing the data circled it in red pen and wrote one word: "Wow." For decades since, millions have believed this might be the first proof we're not alone. But what if the most famous signal in SETI history wasn't made by aliens at all?
Human beings have always had a strange little habit. Every time we look up at the night sky, we find ourselves asking the same question: is there anyone out there? Thousands of years ago, that was simply a philosophical question. But by the 20th century, it had become a scientific one. When radio technology was invented, astronomers realized something important. Radio waves could travel across vast, almost unimaginable distances through space. And if an advanced civilization existed somewhere else in our galaxy, perhaps they too would be using radio. That single idea gave birth to a program called SETI. Its mission sounds almost beautifully simple. Listen. Just listen. No spacecraft to launch, no rockets to fire, just enormous ears built and pointed toward the sky, waiting patiently for the day someone, somewhere might be sending a signal. But there was a problem. The universe is vast, far too vast. So vast that if every star in our galaxy were a single grain of sand, you would be standing in the middle of a desert, stretching out for thousands of kilometers in every direction. In a space that enormous, how could anyone know where to listen? Scientists needed something special. A signal that didn't look natural. A signal strange enough, different enough to make everyone stop and pay attention. Imagine standing in a crowded stadium where millions of people are talking at once and suddenly hearing a single clear whistle rise above the noise. That's the kind of thing scientists were hoping to find. Because if a civilization wanted to be noticed, it would likely send something deliberate, something narrow, something unmistakably artificial. And then, in 1977, they found exactly that. The Big Ear telescope operated in a rather unusual way. It didn't turn the way modern telescopes do. Instead, it simply stood still and let the Earth do the turning for it. A little like fixing a camera beside the road and waiting for things to drift past the frame. On the 15th of August, 1977, Big Ear recorded a signal arriving from a patch of sky near the constellation Sagittarius. The signal lasted exactly 72 seconds, and that number mattered. 72 seconds was the maximum amount of time any source could possibly stay within Big Ear's narrow field of view. This detail caught the scientists' attention immediately. Because if the signal had simply been interference from Earth, it wouldn't have faded away in that particular way. And if it had come from some piece of equipment near our planet, it wouldn't have followed that pattern either.
This signal behaved as though it came from somewhere very far away, very far indeed. A few days later, when the astronomer Jerry Ehman sat down to review the printouts, he noticed the now famous sequence of characters 6, E, Q, U, J, 5. This was simply how the computer represented signal strength, but this particular reading was many, many times stronger than the usual background noise. Ehman didn't hesitate. He circled it immediately and wrote beside it that now iconic word, wow. And in that quiet moment, history was made. Millions of radio signals appear every single day. So why did this one become so famous? The answer lies in its frequency, 1420 megahertz. This frequency is connected to something called neutral hydrogen, and hydrogen is the most abundant element in the entire universe. In other words, if the galaxy had one universal radio channel, many scientists believe this would be it. Think of it like the emergency frequency that every ship at sea knows by heart. If you wanted to be noticed, this is exactly where you would broadcast, and the wow signal appeared almost precisely on that frequency, which led many people to wonder, was someone broadcasting on purpose? But then, an uncomfortable question arose. If this truly was a message from another civilization, why have we never heard it again? Not once, not in nearly 50 years of listening. If it were a beacon, a deliberate signal meant to be found, surely it would have repeated. Surely there would have been a second call, a third, some kind of pattern we could follow. But there was only ever silence, one brief moment shining out from the dark, and then nothing. It's almost as if someone reached out just once, and then the line went quiet forever. For decades, most attention stayed fixed on the extraterrestrial theory. But more recently, a group of researchers proposed something entirely different. They didn't look toward distant civilizations, they looked toward the stars themselves. This research team discovered that within the very patch of sky where the wow signal appeared, there was a sun-like star catalogued as 2MAS 1928-1982 minus 2640123. And more importantly, stars like this one can sometimes be surrounded by enormous clouds of hydrogen gas. Hydrogen naturally emits radiation at a frequency very close to 1420 megahertz. So the researchers asked a careful question. If a hydrogen cloud were unusually cold, unusually dense, and positioned in just the right place, could it have produced something that looked exactly like the wow signal? The idea drew attention almost immediately, because for the first time there was a natural explanation that actually seemed plausible. A quiet, elegant answer hiding in the physics of the cosmos itself. But the story doesn't end there, because many SETI researchers were not entirely convinced. They pointed out that the timing felt strange. that a cloud behaving so precisely, so perfectly, for exactly 72 seconds still felt like an extraordinary coincidence. And so, even with this elegant new theory on the table, the mystery refused to close. It simply shifted shape, and the question remained as quiet and patient as ever. Today, modern telescopes are thousands of times more powerful than Big Ear ever was. We're surveying the sky with a level of detail the scientists of 1977 could never have imagined. And yet, even now, the wow signal has only ever appeared once. 72 seconds, then gone. Perhaps it was simply a rare cloud of hydrogen. Perhaps it was some physical process we don't yet understand. Or perhaps we genuinely caught a signal from somewhere out there in the galaxy, one sent long, long ago, before humanity ever invented radio. And here's the strange part. The sender never called back, and the listener is still sitting here nearly 50 years later, trying to make sense of what we heard. Sometimes the most fascinating mysteries in science aren't the ones that get solved. They're the ones that simply remain. The wow signal may be exactly that, a quiet reminder that the universe is far, far larger than anything we can fully imagine. And perhaps somewhere out there are still questions drifting through the dark, waiting patiently for someone to listen.